You know, I've always been really thankful that I was able to find my wife in a way that was relatively natural. A lot of these dating apps and stuff like that seem to be, all of the horror stories about it and stuff. I've even had some friends that have had personal experiences with dating apps that were really, really scary. I met my wife through work a long time ago. We became friends, and later in our lives, when we were both single, we ended up meeting up, and the rest is history. But in stories like these, they make me very, very thankful. I haven't reacted to it yet, but any Tinder horror story is gonna be scary. This one is by MJV Animations, guys. Make sure to subscribe to him. Subscribe to him if you like reaction videos. Now let's get into this one.
I remember when I first downloaded the Tinder app. I was filled with excitement and new hope. I had not been in a relationship for a while now and was really looking forward to
It's
a
gotta
new
be
beginning.
tough, especially
My
if you don't get
ex-boyfriend
out.
moved to another city a year ago, and I really needed to move on. I
Right.
created my profile and started swiping. Most of the profiles I came across were either fake or not my vibe. After days of
I didn't
swiping
even think
and
about that. A
multiple
lot of
failed
fake stuff
matches,
too, huh?
I finally came across this guy who was really handsome and seemed
Jason.
down to earth and humble. I remember thinking to myself, it would be really nice if this worked out, and I swiped right. To my surprise, it was an instant match. A rush of happiness filled up my body and brought a
Okay.
smile to my face.
I don't know how the
His
matching
name
stuff works,
was
but
Jason. We started talking to each other, and he seemed really nice.
okay.
A few days passed by,
Seemed.
and I wonder why he hadn't asked me out yet.
It's a horror
I
story.
tried dropping as many hits as I could, but it was of no use. So, I asked him out. This is when things started to get a little weird.
Okay.
Let's go out and grab coffee someday, I texted. He replied saying, sure, someday. When? I asked. What he said next really creeped me out. When your soul leaves the mortal world. That got me a little worried. I assumed he was joking.
What?
Maybe. But even if so,
Can you swipe
it's
left
a
now?
real morbid sense of humor. As I stared at the
Yeah.
chat thinking what I should reply, the doorbell suddenly rang. That startled me. It was late at night. Who could that possibly
Is it
be?
Jason?
I slowly made my way to the door, and with a lot of hesitation, opened it. Surprise, girl! A loud voice yelled. It was my best friend Trisha.
Well,
I brought wine and chips,
there you go.
she said. I was
Little
happy to
nice,
see
nice
her.
little party.
We had not been friends too long, but we were close.
Okay.
As we sipped on wine and binge-watched horror movies, I decided to tell her about Jason.
Okay.
I pulled up my phone, opened Tinder, and showed her Jason's profile. And just as I did, that smile I saw on her face faded away.
She
A
knows who
serious
it is.
look gripped her face. She looked at me and said, "Is this a joke?" "What's wrong?" I replied. She said, "This guy died 3 years ago, and he used to live in this same house you're living in right now."
What?
That moment I heard that, I got goosebumps.
What?
Trisha then went on to explain how this guy named Jason used to live in my house before me with his girlfriend. One night he slit her throat while she was sleeping and then killed himself. The authorities deemed him mentally ill. She showed me the news headlines on the internet to prove she was telling the truth.
Oh my god.
I never saw this coming. Was I really talking to the spirit of a dead man?
No.
How could this be possible?
Somebody
The
was
next day I
posing
thought
as
to
him
myself,
as an identity.
This has to be some kind of prank.
Right.
It has to be a fake profile someone created with his
it
name
could
and
be.
photos. I picked up my phone and opened Tinder and decided to confront the man behind the profile.
Okay.
But it was gone.
Yeah.
Jason's profile had been deleted all of a sudden. I thought to myself, at least it's over.
No.
And I immediately uninstalled the app.
Something's up,
Later that
man.
night, as I sat home alone watching TV, I heard a loud bang on my door. "Trisha?" I said out loud. I opened the door to see nobody. That's strange.
It's
I
the
thought.
ghost of
I
Jason.
shut the door and locked it behind me. At this point, I was starting to get a little paranoid.
You need to move.
Later that night when I was asleep,
Your
I heard
house
a
is
loud
haunted,
bang
girl.
again. This time, it came from inside the house.
Uh-huh.
My dog immediately started to get restless. I slowly made my way down as I switched on the light. I got the shock of my life. Everything in my living room was out of place and scattered across the floor. Someone or something was
something.
inside my house. I began to realize that something sinister is happening to me.
Yeah.
I never slept for the rest of the night.
I
and
guess
sat with
not.
a baseball bat right next to me.
I guess
As dawn
so.
broke, I called the police and explained what happened. They looked around the house and
You
found
waited
no
till
evidence
dawn?
of a break-in.
No.
When I told them about Jason and the whole Tinder scene, they said what I actually expected them to say. "It's probably a prank, man.
Prank.
Don't
Yeah.
get too worried.
No,
This is a safe neighborhood.
you got a demon
None of
in
the
your house.
officers seem to believe the possibility
You
that
got a
it's
demon in your
more
house.
than just a prank.
Right.
The next night, I slept with the lights on.
I'll
In the middle
vote
of the night,
supernatural, y'all.
I heard my dog barking and growling violently. To my surprise, he wasn't in the house. As I looked out the
He was
window,
outside?
I saw my dog on the front yard. How did he get out? I said to myself as I ran downstairs. My door was wide open, and my dog was just staring into the darkness in front of him, just growling. What is it, boy? What do you see? As I focused my vision ahead, I saw a dark shadow in the distance. It looked right towards me. I couldn't see a face, just a black shadow standing there. I lost my calm and fell into a state of fear.
You
I
better
caught
go
my
in the
dog's
house.
collar and slowly walked backwards towards my house.
Yeah.
I got in and locked the door. As I peeped out the window, the shadow figure had disappeared. Who was that? I thought.
Or what was
the
that?
spirit of a dead man? I was scared. I knew I was being haunted. I
Yeah.
had unknowingly invoked the spirit of a dead man when I started talking to Jason. I
That's
realized
so
this was
weird,
going to be
dude.
a long night. And as I
Haunted
looked at the
Tinder
time, I
profile.
noticed all the clocks in my house had stopped working. At the same time, they all froze at 3:06 a.m. I felt threatened and helpless.
I bet you that
The
was
next
the
night,
time
the
that he
paranormal
died or
activities
something like that.
continued. I kept hearing footsteps coming from the other rooms. I get this constant feeling that I wasn't alone in the house. The lights flickered every now and at one point, I felt something touch the back of my neck.
Girl, get
this
out of
is
there.
when I realized things were getting out of hand.
Get
And
out
if the police
of
were not going to
there.
take me seriously, I had to find someone who would. The next day, I called a priest to bless
Oh,
the house.
Okay, good.
As he stepped in, he immediately told me he felt a dark presence lurking around. He said
Mhm.
some prayers and sprayed holy water all over. I was never a religious person, but at this point, I was desperate for help. I had hoped the strange activities would stop now, and, well,
Man.
they did. The next night was peaceful. As the days passed by, I was less scared.
Wow.
Things started to go back to normal. Then, one night a few weeks later, I heard a loud bang in the middle of the night, just when I thought my nightmare was over.
Uh-oh.
It happened again.
Maybe
This
it just
It was far worse.
held it back.
As I made
or
my way
something.
down to the door, my dog started growling. I opened it to find a bloody knife at my doorstep.
Oh my God.
If I remember correctly, Jason had slit his girlfriend's throat with a knife. I immediately realized this haunting wasn't over. In fact, it was just beginning.
Bruh. No. First of all, if you woke up in the middle of the night to some noise and you lived by yourself with your dog and the entire front living room or bedroom or whatever that room was, the family room, was disheveled and like stuff was moved around and messed up, you know, don't wait till the morning to call the cops, man. Even if it wasn't a spirit, somebody was hiding in your house. Get the heck out of here. I don't understand these people, man. MJV Animations, guys. Make sure to subscribe to MJV. Make sure to subscribe to me if you like reaction videos, too. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.